So check it out. It's it's June. It's June right now. So well, when I'm recording this, it's June. But when the video comes out, this shirt probably won't be available. But I got one. I got some Funky Frog merch, and it's Pride merch, and it references my favorite Willie Nelson song, the Gay Willie Nelson song. You know, the Gay Willie Nelson song. Have you not heard the Gay Willie Nelson song? Let's draw boys kissing. That's what we're doing today. Hello. Welcome back to I Dream of Entropy, the YouTube show where I follow the dopamine until I make something good, and I guess you guys are here for the ride. My name is Arthur, and today we're gonna be drawing some guys kissing. Some dudes, you know, some friends, some really good friends, roommates, colleagues, you know, from a purely historical perspective. So yeah, this Pride Month has been, you know, I'm not feeling like spending money. Most of the time I'm not feeling like spending money, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really feel like making money, for real. I'm not too fond of what's going on with my tax dollars as of late, as of the past couple decades, as of a while, as of forever. I'm not having a good time being an American right now and being a queer. So, we're drawing dudes kissing. And that is giving me a little dopamine hit, and it's making life bearable right now. Yeah, you know, men, like, have a tendency to have thicker necks. So, when you're drawing your dude and you want to give him a really masculine, like, shape. There we go. There's one fella, and here's another fella. And we're gonna want them super close, because this is, like, one of the types of kissing, right? That we're gonna want to learn how to draw is the one where they're just, they're super, like, tentative. Like, it gives, you know, rather than them just mapping, right? they're really, there's tension there. There's the tension of they're not quite comfortable with each other yet. Like, if you're doing like a first kiss or something, or like maybe they haven't seen each other in a while, like, you're gonna give them like this very, almost a should we? Is that where we are? Kind of thing, right? So, the body language, that's what I'm trying to communicate, the body language. It's all about the body language. So I kind of wanted to give them kind of this, you know, I wanted to draw different scenarios. Like, it really depends on the relationship your characters have with each other. You know, sometimes they're hesitant, sometimes it's like, it's more emotional, and sometimes it's like, much more needy, you know? And, a lot of the time, when you're drawing two characters kissing, you gotta remember that, you know, their faces aren't flat. They've got, you know, all kinds of bends and curves to their faces. You gotta remember that some of it's gonna overlap. So you're gonna wanna kinda twist the faces. So what you're gonna wanna do is, you're gonna wanna draw their faces at like an angle to each other, where they're just kinda like, you know, one's leaning one way, one's leaning the other, you know? So you might have the jaw up at an angle, like keep close attention to this area. And if your character has stubble, he's going to, it's going to be a little bit more defined. What? No, I'm filming this all on the same day. What are you talking about? It's all about the body language. I promise it'll look better than these like random mannequin heads. I just didn't get a chance to warm up yet. Maybe they're almost. They're just like almost. I think I messed up these proportions. We're only going to complete one of these because I'm not getting paid to do this, so I'm just doing it for fun. So while I'm doing it for fun, wasn't me. And one of them you kind of want this way. You want them like so if you're doing the angles right, you're gonna want one of them to tilt his head right there, and the other one to tilt its head kind of like that. So there's gonna be some overlap in the lip area. She saw me banging on the sofa. It wasn't me. Yeah, so one of them is gonna be the nose one, right? Nose is on this side. Alright, we got this fella's nose. Which means the other fella's chin. Which means the other guy is gonna be the chin guy. Okay, so I think those are a nice set of smoochers, right? Maybe have them kind of melting just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm thinking... This type of kiss is like a very... I don't know. It's more impassioned. I guess I kind of do like 3 levels of kiss. You got the smooch, you know, you got the kiss, and then you've got the like they just macking. Like I guess the word I'm looking for is sensual and horny. Like that's the difference. That's how you distinguish them. That's how they're different from each other. Some people know the difference, some people don't. It's fine. Well, it appears my equipment wants to sabotage me. Ugh. Let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns. The Huns being J.K. Rowling. I said what I said. She knows she's a cis Hun. Alright, now we're getting into the fun stuff. We're getting into the macking, the really gross kiss. Yeah. When 2 characters really like each other. Yeah, very much. So yeah, occasionally you're gonna want to draw them just like really smushed into each other. And, you know, you could start with the mouth. That's an acceptable place to start. Especially if you're only drawing the head. If you're drawing the whole pose, though, legit, you can hide their faces, and it still be very convincing.
like one of the most famous pictures of a kiss, you know, in the world. The one where that soldier, you know, has that woman just draped over his arm, and he's giving her a big old smooch. This picture, right? It's a very famous picture. You can't see her face. You can barely see his face. All you can really see are his eyebrows and his nose, right? Everything else covered up. You can do a lot with the pose that, you know, this is a very convincing kiss. But you don't have to show the connection. You don't have to show the connection.
The story behind it is less romantic than the actual photograph. So, like, dude fresh off the boat, you know, that's not a woman he knows. He just grabbed a random woman and kissed her, right? So the soldier, you know, kissing the random nurse. He just kind of grabbed her and did that. Which is a crime, but besides the point, right? Like, that is a good way to hide a face. Like, he's really, really in it, right? So you can maybe see the top of his head, and you can see her bent back and, like, draped in his arm. Like, his arm is covering her face, and the kiss is kind of covered up for the most part. You can't really see them kissing. And it makes your job that much easier, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you really want to draw the intimacy of the moment, right? But, you know, and sometimes it's more effective to show it in the pose than it is to, like, physically show the mouths touching.
But today we are showing the connection. I think at some point I wanted to give him, like, stitch braids. I had so much difficulty drawing this man's hair. Kisses in general are difficult to draw. Anything that involves, like, a pair or more of characters, like, engaged with each other physically, like grabbing each other, or, you know, arms interlocked, or one arm around the shoulder, holding each other's face, you know. Anything where you're drawing those kinds of poses is going to take a little bit more time and planning. You're gonna want to, really, like, really get their bodies, like, have a plan for what you're gonna do with them before you just go in, you know? I know the really fun parts are the cool, you know, swooping lines and the details, but sometimes you can get a little lost in the sauce, and, like, you'll get lost in those little details, and then you'll zoom out and realize that it just doesn't fit. Like, you've messed up, the perspective's all wrong. You've messed up the proportions because you were concentrating on this little area. So, you know, zoom in, zoom out. Start big, work your way to smaller details. And it's very important when you're doing digital work to do this, because, like, you will not have a view of the rest of the canvas. You know? So, zoom out, have a look, make sure that everything matches correctly, and yeah, I can give you a million examples, but I did want to finish something, so I decided to stop at the examples I'm showing here, but you get the basic gist.
I'm sorry for the ADHD, but I am going to continue to bombard you with memes and brainworms. I got more brainworms than RFK. Oh, an update? I don't want to update. I just want to get to work. Why is there so much friction between me and work? Oh, that was fast. Forget that I was complaining. I've never complained. I've never complained. I've never complained in my life. Like a diva about everything. Every conceivable thing. It's my autism. I'm sure it's my autism. I'm just like, everything is so irritating, you know, and if there's like changes of plans or any friction between me and my work, it makes it that much harder to cross that barrier to actually get to work, you know? And I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but like that just removing an extra barrier, you know? It could be something as simple as making sure you have a clean workstation, or, you know, making sure that things are ready to go. Like, to the point where you get home from your day job, you know, whatever you're doing, you can just log in and get to work. Like, I am a big proponent in tricking yourself into doing things. I also have ADHD, so I have to trick myself into doing things. Oftentimes, things that should be second nature, I have to trick myself. Like, I have to set alarms, I have to strategically place things on the way out the door so I remember to grab them before I head to work. It's like, oh, don't forget your keys. Don't forget, you know, a pen. You need a pen. Don't forget a pen. Like, I don't know how I lose so many pens. And I never have a pen for work. But I got a pen in my workstation. I'm never bereft of pens if I need to write something down in my workstation. And those are the kinds of things that you have to do, you know? You have to keep things ready. Or don't listen to me, I'm just some fag on the internet. Can we say that? Or am I allowed to say that? I'm not estranged to Penesses. So, but I'm also not strictly dickly either. What I'm saying is, it don't matter. Be hot. Have genitals, preferably. If you don't have genitals, it might make it a little bit difficult to have sex, you know. You know, we have gender-neutral bathrooms, but I feel like we could just as easily have no gender bathrooms. If you have a gender, you're not allowed in. I like to think I'm at least as funny as Sam Draws. Shout out to Sam Draws, a good artist. I'm joking. You know, I do think that I'm, you know, passable. And definitely for what I need the art for. I need the art for a comic right now, and a couple of commie zines. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on, right? So, my art is passable for what I need it for. And then there are people like Sam Does Arts, and I'm just like, damn. But that's the wrong idea to have. You shouldn't be envious of other artists. You should be excited. You should be interested. You should be like, wow, I could become that good. That's something I can achieve. Because it's been done, I can achieve it too. You just have to learn. I had a bad experience at dinner. I bit into a piece of chicken and there was a bone in there. And my autism said, "You're done eating this thing right now." So, milk and cookies. Kind of food. Kind of food. Food if you're autistic. Food if you're autistic.
So there's this image of a Russian and American soldier. I want to say, yeah, Germany 1945. So this is during World War II. They're fighting fascists together. How beautiful, right? And they are engaged in a quote-unquote friendship kiss. It's beautiful. It is the gayest thing I've ever seen. And, you know, I know that they're probably heterosexual men. But that does not look like a way you kiss your buddy, alright? Like, that looks... As a man who has, kissed a few men on the mouth, I'm just saying that is not a very platonic kiss. You wouldn't kiss your mother like that. It's in the body language.
It's all about the body language.
But you know, he's just like, he's really grabbing onto him. So, I thought, it's Pride Month, you know? Well, when I started this, it was Pride Month. It's a historic year. Let's go for a historic image. So I wanted to recreate that. And, you know, be a little cheeky with it. What sort of food? Food-ish. Food-shaped. It's food-shaped. Chickens are not food-shaped. They're animal-shaped. They're adorable. Oh, speaking of adorable, look at this. Look at this. Look. I keep looking over here because that's where, like, the stop button is, but y'all are over here. You... Okay. My Furby mug. And it's accidentally in Pride colors. Pride Furby. And they were comrades. Oh my god, they were comrades. I am so old. I'm not old. I'm only 31. But in internet years, that's an eternity. They were playing music nostalgic from my childhood at the grocery store. When they start playing Usher at the grocery store, it's over for me. Like, but yeah, I really think that the kiss between these two, like, it just looks so intimate, you know? And it looks like such a spur-of-the-moment thing, right? It looks unplanned, and natural, and it's one of those things that I'm not an artist that likes to recreate things. I like fantastic situations. I like making characters and stuff, but I am drawn to that authenticity, you know, in my work. So I want to make more art where the characters have that kind of relationship and it's apparent just visually, you know? You get a snippet of their life and you're like, yeah, I think I understand exactly how these two people interact with each other. Like, look how comfortable they are with each other. Like, he has no problem just grabbing them, pulling them in close, and giving them a big smooch on the mouth. Like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Film Cooper, if you're watching this, you're going to have to compete with me for prettiest boy. Yum. Looking good. I don't know if Santa Claus, you know, is real or not. We don't know if he's... The jury's out. The jury is out, kids. Boys and girls and non-binary friends.
Hmm. But you know something? If Santa's real, might be autistic. And honestly, peak choice in autism snack. I like a bologna, right? A bologna, but with like a piece of cheese on top in the microwave, and then roll it into some sort of like burrito, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like omelet situation, and just eat it like a little taquito, like a little meat taquito. Mmm. This might be the gayest video I ever make. My Grindr profile should just be like a link to this. I'm not even really on Grindr for real. Everybody says they want to hook up, but they don't. They just want like the idea. They like the fantasy. They're like, oh, what if I did this thing? What if I did this? And then they don't. And then they don't. And for real, what kind of guy is that? Like you're gonna like obsessively think about something and just, you know.
And, you know, I normally don't go for a painterly style. I normally go for clean, crisp line art. I normally go for, like, I opt for kind of mixed shading, like soft shading and cell shading. Here I did entirely, you know, soft shading, except on the uniform. I went a little bit harder on the uniform. So when I do a painterly style like this, I just go for a really clean sketch. So I try and clean the sketch up as much as possible before I go in with the flats. So that's just sort of what I'm doing here. I want to make sure that the line work, like the lines are exactly where I want them to be. Because I'm a dirty, dirty cheater. And I like to make things as easy for myself in the future as possible. Because I've seen, you know, people just paint right over their lines, confident. No hesitation. And I will not do that. That is too much work. I don't want to lose all of my lines. I like my lines. Look at my beautiful, beautiful lines.
I don't know what I'm doing with these videos, and I don't know what style of video I'm going for. But my inspirations are art YouTubers, obviously, because I want to do art. I want to be an art YouTuber, right? But also CJ the X, and also Natalie Wynn, Hey Hey, Contra, Mother, we love you. And then, oh god. I had more, I swear to god I had more. Film Cooper, obviously, I dropped him early on because we're competing for Prettiest Boy. You haven't... Oh wait, I do post myself with the makeup in here. Put your eyeliner on, Phil. Film. I am so sorry. You're... That is not what I meant to say. No. You got me beat on the chin. I'm gonna be for real. Back when I had the beard, though, oh, I was a hottie. I was a hottie. I miss my beard, for real. Like, I had a bit of a gut. I've lost some weight, but I was such a cutie pie. With a big burly beard and the, you know. And then OSHA wanted me to shave it, so.
I guess I like being employed more than I like being hot. Anyway, let's do art. You know, sometimes as artists, we think that we see people, but we don't. We don't. And then we take another look and we're like, oh, that's not you at all, is it? Huh. Let me just grab my eraser. And that's why the good Lord, in all of his wisdom, invented erasers, don't you know? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. He's a little bit older, isn't he, than I initially thought. I made them both quite young men, but this guy's a little bit older than he is. I would love to know, chat, if somebody knows, I'll have it in the video, but if somebody knows what all of these patches and medals and shit mean, let me know. I want to know what ranks, what's the tea on these two boys. Tell me why they're engaged in this friendship kiss that there is no heterosexual explanation for. Just smoosh their little faces together. Did you know that it's illegal to be a fujoshi in China? I didn't know that until today, June 30th of 2025. Last day of June, technically still Pride Month. Not when this releases, but it's Pride Month when I'm recording this. Incorrect. No. Absolutely not. I will not stay informed. I will not stay ahead. You won't get me, woke mind virus. My gender is already transed. A little bit John Mulaney there right at the end. My gender is already trans. John Mulaney, tell me how well I did. That is probably not at all how that man's eyebrows are shaped. Hold on. Let me actually look at his face, alright? For longer than a few seconds. Thank you. Yeah, pay attention. Pay attention with your ADHD ass. Yeah. And he's got kinda... his eyebrows are actually shaped more like this. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Really purse his lips. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that's a smile. That's a big white grin. Okay, so when you're drawing these fellas kissing, you're drawing a big wide grin on this fella. And I like to color my sketches in. I don't know why I went for such a harsh red here. I think I was going to do line art, and then I said, you know what? No, this actually would look much better as like a painterly, in a painterly style. So that's what I ended up going for. And I did end up having to go in and clean up some of the line work later, but not nearly as much as I would have if, like, I opted for line art for this piece. A lot of my work, I am just trying to make things easy for myself. And, it's usually finished when I give up. And I'm like, you know what? I give up. People are only gonna look at this for a second anyway, and probably not engage with it. You know, I would go insane if I didn't have something to work on, like this YouTube channel. So, thank you. Y'all are keeping me sane in insane times. And as of right now, my YouTube drop hasn't even started. Like, my YouTube drop is in late July, and it's the first week of July right now when I'm doing the voice recording for this. I know, I missed Pride Month. I was busy. Being gay, no. I say gay, but I guess I should say bisexual, so people don't feel betrayed when they find out about my wife. I'm calling her my wife because I'm already calling it. They're gonna cut her Medicaid, and when they do, there's gonna be nothing to stop us from getting married. So, I mean, Yunkin already paid for her facial feminization surgery, so... I know not Yunkin, right? But I like to say Yunkin, because I really hope it upsets the man. I hope he is as upset about that as the fact that sometimes people watch porn. Did you know that there is a certain very popular site that you can't get in Virginia because of the laws? Because they're not gonna make you show your ID to access their materials. That's ridiculous and an invasion of privacy. It's unenforceable, and I think what they're trying to do is eliminate VPNs, for real. Like, I think that's the long-term goal. But I could complain about the government forever, and I do. There are a lot of things I could change, you know. I think that the government is supposed to serve the people and not corporate interests. But who am I, you know? Just like some trans guy with an art program on the internet. So, like, do your own research, but don't shy away from declassified CIA documents when doing that research. The United States has been evil for a while. Haha, pretty colors! I don't know, y'all. Something about this kiss, it don't feel... It doesn't feel like a strictly friendship thing. I feel like there's more to the story. But if it's private, that's fine. You know, I know that there was this little thing before the internet called privacy that people used to enjoy. And I respect these gentlemen's right to privacy. But that is an awfully intimate way to hold that man. And, you know, it is World War II, right? The setting for this, right? They're fighting Nazis together. How romantic. And there are a lot of things, like there's a lot of art, like a lot of art around that period where certain things are emphasized, certain things are glorified. I think the thing to glorify is acts of love and not war. However, if a war must happen, better to be a communist than a fascist. All I'm saying is, you know, there was a time when the Russians were objectively right, and the United States was objectively wrong. There were a lot of times when countries that the United States was fighting with were objectively right, and the United States was objectively wrong. CC them declassified CIA documents that I mentioned earlier. But I will get off of my soapbox. You are all thinking human beings, and you are capable of looking this up yourselves. After all, the internet's free for now, right? They haven't persecuted us for using the internet yet. Well, I mean, I guess if you're trying to enter the United States with some contraband memes, you might get in trouble. That was so crazy. Did y'all hear about that? Like, a JD Vance meme got somebody, like, kept somebody out of the country. That's so stupid. We used to be somewhat a proper country. You know, we had some infrastructure, not as much as other developed countries. Like, we were somewhat a proper country, weren't we? People from developed countries, in the comments, feel free to rag on the United States, unless you're English. I'll take that from an Irishman, not an Englishman. There's a reason. I kid, right? I kid. But it is petty European beef. Well, not the Irish stuff. That is real beef. But most of the European beef is funny. Like, most European beef is hilarious. It's when you get to other parts of the world where you're like, oh, wow. The sins of my country. And, you know, there's this thing that I've been learning while dealing with my mental health. And it's become sort of a mantra for me. Not your fault doesn't mean not your responsibility. And I know it's something that a lot of people are not going to want to hear. But it's true. Like, the stuff that happened to make my brain as messed up as it is wasn't my fault. But it is my responsibility to deal with. Just like the problems with my country. Some of them are, well, a lot of them are not my fault, but we gotta do something, y'all. Like, there are local elections. Stop just paying attention to the presidential one. There are zoning meetings you should be attending. There's a lot of stuff you should be doing, and there's a lot of things that you can do to divest from capitalism. It's a lot of work, and you will have to ask for things and let people know that you're in need, and you will have to respond when other people are in need, but a lot of this, like a vast majority of the stuff that we need is already in circulation among us, the people. We have the means to sustain ourselves in a lot of instances. Wherever you can divest from systems of, capital, or at least from corporations you know are evil, you know that Amazon is evil, right? Don't give them any more of your money. Divest. You know Etsy is evil, right? Find the artists that are on Etsy, go to their websites. There's no reason to, there's no reason not to. Stopping spending money, right? Not spending money is the easiest thing I don't do. Obviously, you can't divest from capitalism completely because we live in a society, entrenched on all sides by systems of capital, hey. But you can divest as much as possible. You can really limit the amount of damage you do personally. And that's what I've been working on. I am not beating the bread tube allegations. And I don't care. Because, right now, I think we can start using the C word. I think people are ready to hear the C word. Communism, it's communism. Y'all, I cooked here. Hooey, give me a pair of oven mitts. It's hot. Honestly, I think my best work is done when I give up on trying to make something that, will be super popular at the time, and instead follow the dopamine. That's another mantra. I heard it from somebody else, probably on TikTok, and now I just follow the dopamine. If something no longer gives me that dopamine rush, I get rid of it. That's why I'm not really on Twitter for real. I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on TikTok. I mean, I have an account on Twitter. I don't have an account on TikTok. I tried TikTok again. I'm just not gonna do it anymore. It's silly. It's a silly app. And I might be a little too gay for it. Or a little too old. And I kinda just want to make YouTube videos anyway. I don't like short video formats. I have too much to say. I yap too goddamn much. Y'all, I talk so much. I wish I were a stoic autistic instead of a never shut the fuck up autistic, because, I know that I make people uncomfortable, right? And I can't stop. I annoy myself. I can't imagine how annoying other people find me. But at least on YouTube, right? If you're here and I'm yapping at you, it is entirely your fault that you're here. Because, how far are we in? We've got to be quite a ways into the video by now. And you're still here. Listen. And you're still here, still listening to me yap. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I had this much fun on a piece. I might do a series like this, tag me down below if there are, like, more gay historical images that you'd love to see, drawn by some queer on YouTube. But it would be fun. I might just do one of these every once in a while, like every year maybe, you know, to see how much I improve or what my understanding of things is. Because I know there's a lot of things that I messed up here, and I just kind of winged it and pretended that I didn't notice that I messed up. Because, you know, it's never going to be the same image. I wouldn't want it to be anyway. I want it to, you know, have some of that I made it charm. And I am somebody who thinks you can have sex with a man and it's still not, like, you still not be gay, you know? I mean, I identify as bisexual, but what I'm trying to say is we should advocate more freedom in gender and sexuality expression, not less. Like, you can just try something. That's perfectly okay, perfectly acceptable. You can also just be gay. Like, if you had sex with women before but prefer men, that's also an acceptable way to be. What I'm saying is, right, if something works for you, use it. If something doesn't work for you, don't use it. You know, you don't want to be called gay? Fine. I mean, if sleeping with men becomes a habitual thing and, you know, you like doing it and, you know, I'm just saying, people might think that the shoe fits, you know? The shoe fits. It's all on an individual basis, I think. Like, it'd be pretty funny if I went around saying I'm a cis man. I mean, funny, haha. The funniest part is people legitly can't tell. And they assume, if they find out I'm trans at all, they assume that I'm transitioning the other way. And that's hilarious to me. I asked somebody for a tampon. And then months later, she was like, why would you need one if you don't have a uterus? And I was like, oh, wow. You confirmed with me that I was on hormones, but you thought, okay. So, yeah. I like that people just assume I'm male. It makes things funny sometimes. Life is funny sometimes. Like, funny haha, not funny, uncomfortable, you know? There are times people are uncomfortable about it, but most of the time it's just funny. But I've had a lot of life experience. Alright. Well, them's our comrades. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed listening to me yap, watching me draw. I don't know when the next one is coming out. I greatly appreciate anybody who is watching these or following me on other social media. I'm going to continue until I succeed. I'm going to continue until I succeed. That's the only thing I can do because I'm compelled to do this. So, until the dopamine dries up, like and subscribe, follow for more. on all of my social media. I'm I Dream of Entropy pretty much everywhere. Um, there are sites that I'm less active on, but I'll probably be more active if you at or tag me or say, hey, look at my art. Look at my art. Look at my art, Al. And I definitely will. I'll look at your art. Um, because I love art and I love artists and I want a community of artists. So, talk to me. I'm bored. All right. Love y'all.